if you've been following Pokemon for the last few years, you can see the building blocks. It's a slow process, but with this new battle system coming in, similar to Legends Arceus introduced like the open world catching. I mean, I know it wasn't a full open world game, but you can see the influence that it had on Scarlet and Violet, you know? So definitely ZA. I'm actually most curious to see if they commit to this new real-time battle in Gen 10.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, you guys can talk.
A lot of people think. Yeah.
I've heard some people say it. I really don't. I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to be implemented. And let's put it this way. I don't think turn-based is going anywhere, but I could see them introducing the kind of, or a version of the Legends ZA battle mechanic as like another thing. Like I think about the Let's Go feature, how like you can send your Pokemon, maybe like there's a thing like that, especially with like the Synchro Machine.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of teased that the Synchro Machine is like a beta version of something else. I think like it's very possible there could be a mode where we can turn into our Pokemon and fight wild Pokemon in that turn-based battle system, or I mean in that real-time battle system. But like the thing with the turn-based is like VGC is, and maybe I'm biased because I love VGC. I've been to a couple tournaments.
That's fine. It's representative of a lot of people.
Biased, well, and that's the thing is, while I am biased, I have also seen firsthand the love for these things, and like the fact that like Orlando, what year did Scarlet and Violet come out? That was 2022, right? So Orlando 2023 was the biggest Pokemon tournament in history, like in attendance. Then Orlando 2024 or Charlotte 2024 was then the biggest. Then Orlando 2024 became the biggest. And just so you're seeing these numbers increasing with every tournament. And so I just don't see, I mean the worlds are now having to do like a little virtual like lottery queue just so people can go to them. And so like my thing is the love behind that game, that turn-based game, is so huge. Not to mention you have some of the most, I think, kind of influential or popular, well-known Pokemon people are people in that field. Like I think about Wolf Glick. I mean, the Pokemon Company loves Wolf Glick. And so to take away the thing that Wolf Glick got famous doing and replace it with something else would be mind-blowing to me.
Well, the thing is, it's not ending though, like no matter what, because we do have now. That was
it might just be something else.
For sure, but I still think it'll remain in the main games, but I do think the real-time battle systems might be implemented into another thing. I mean, Pokemon always has like some kind of other battle mechanic, right? Like I think about like the battle royals and Sun and Moon, and
triple
things
battles.
like that.
We got the terror raids.
I feel like they could implement it as another thing in the game, but I'm biased and I'm also scared, if I'm honest, because I love the turn-based battles so much and I don't want them to go anywhere.
It is Pokemon turn-based battles, like that is what it's always been. So it's like, that's kind of what it is. To answer your question, Mo, I don't know how much you know about like, development of what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, we don't know that much either. We just know from leaks and whatever. But they've already been working on Gen 10 like almost at the same time as Legends ZA, so it's like, like they probably are sticking with the classic route for Gen 10. It feels that way. Who knows? But ZA, I feel like the Legends titles are their experimental vibes. But maybe like in Gen 11, I could see like, oh, this has been doing really well, and we don't know if we're gonna make another Legends game. Like maybe we just put in some action elements into the battle system or change it up. I feel like Gen 10 is still going to be turn-based, but
I think, okay, so again, something from the leaks that I've really stuck onto is there's this like, I don't know if it's like a press briefing or something, or it's like it's some sort of internal document where they're describing the purpose of Legends Arceus. And one of the lines that stood out to me was that they were kind of saying that they were building Legends Arceus as a game for quote-unquote gamers, right? More serious people who are looking for that,
I saw those.
Yeah.
That it was like more targeted to the older, I guess, Pokemon fans.
Yeah. And so, I think there's always a possibility that this type of real-time combat could make its way into the main series. But I guess my gut says if it does make its way into the main series, it actually would just be a an add-on feature like the synchro machine, or maybe the raids function with this new real-time combat system. Or actually, what I really think is the answer is that this is just exclusive for the Legend series, right?
Yeah.
The Legend series is for more serious people. I think, people in my life know I like Pokemon, but like I'm only out here advocating and promoting Legends Arceus and Legends ZA, mostly Legends Arceus, to friends who game generally, right? Every time there's a new Pokemon game, they go, "Oh, did you see the new Pokemon game?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'll tell them if they're interested, but I'm not going to be like, "You need to buy it," because it's not for them probably. But the Legends games, I've advocated for those, and my friends who have picked it up, who also play Dark Souls or whatever, are like, "Yeah, Legends Arceus was a really fun game. I'm glad I played it. I itched my nostalgia," right? But it's still something that I can enjoy in a more interactive way, right? So
yeah.
So that's I guess I'm not so fearful that it's going to replace. And I think also the other thing I'm thinking about is that these Pokemon games have sold so well on the Switch. Why would they change that up on a whim? I think they're going to wait. I think they're going to wait to see how well Legends ZA performs, financially. And I think they're also going to maybe add an element into Generation 10. And again, see how people feel about that. Maybe down the line it could change. But I think, I don't know. I think you guys have said all the right things where it's like the turn-based combat is so integral to the history and even the current competitive landscape. I don't see them replacing that.
Yeah. It's tough to say, especially with Pokemon Champions there. Like it's confirmed it's happening. But it's also insane to hear. I think that's the first time I've heard someone say Gen 11 when Soul said it. I was just like, that seems mind blowing. Like,
it's not the first time we've said it on the pod. Yeah.
We're talking about being 50 years old and all this other stuff.
We're those toxic Pokemon fans that's like, they revealed Gen 10. We're like, that's great. I wonder what the next Legends game is.
Yeah, literally. That's what we are. But we also appreciate what we're playing right now.
Yeah. So much.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned too, like Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, similarly to how we're seeing now, had a simultaneous development.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe. Okay. And we saw the influence that it had there. So that's why I'm kind of with you guys that I think we'll see it in some way. Maybe not take over turn-based, at least not yet. But it will probably be in there in some capacity.
Yeah. I think Synchro Machine, to be honest, because they didn't just like throw that in there for no reason. It was really random, like, this is this little thing that it is not fully complete. The prototype is what they said. This is the prototype version. Like, get ready.
But there's that part of me too that's like, they're gonna want to push Pokemon Champions. Yeah. So not this year, but maybe next World Championship, would they just switch to Pokemon Champions?
I think there's, I don't know. I think there's I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, we're talking about not 2026, 2027.
I feel like for next year, maybe they could. Maybe
for 2026, yeah, because at that point the new Mega Evolutions would be out,
right?
So they can do Terrestrial versus Mega.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Like especially if we're assuming, because we on the pod at least are assuming that ZA is going to drop like September, October. So if you then drop Champions like December, you have time to like run the bracket for like, prep for Worlds, like get the points for Worlds through the spring of that following year, and then Worlds do Champions so that you can do Mega versus Terrestrial, right? But I feel like when they do Gen 10, like when that releases, it'll probably have a new gimmick, and I feel like they'll want to switch over to that, or maybe they update Champions to have whatever this new gimmick is.
Yeah,
that is true.
The gimmick thing is one of the biggest pulls to like competitive. But another thing too is like I see so many people say in the VGC field, like they're like Terrestrial is the best VGC's ever been because it's so balanced and it's just it's the best gimmick. Like hands down. Whether maybe people don't like the party hats or whatever, but the competitive prowess of it is like the best it's ever been. And so some people are like, Terrestrial's got to stay in Gen 10. It has to, because this is the best thing we've ever gotten.
Well, but it will change.
We're going to stay in Gen 10.
It will change.
Right. Yeah.